Game 2 on the way. Obey taking on Team Dignitas. Obey with the loss will opt for the secondary selection here.
It makes sense if they're going to look for a comfort pick for Xaliea. This time, they first picked their Chang'e, which worked out once he was rotating to the team fights, but he made one big lapse of judgment around that 24.5-minute mark where he was farming in the middle of the lane when he had no tier 1 tower to retreat to. The through space of time came in. I think I counted 4 Dignitas jerseys on top of him. Clean pick. And that's when Dignitas got their first Fire Giant. iRaffer had to sacrifice himself afterwards. Twig died as well immediately after, and that's where Dig just started to get some momentum.
First round of bans are in. No Giannis, no Sobek, says Obey, and no Athena, no Artemis for Team Dignitas. Chernobog available. Chang'e available. Healers available. And it's going to be the Chang'e.
Well, Obey did it once. Dignitas got to bring it right back to them.
This is... Now, it's funny. It's Variety versus Xaliea. So I can't even say that this is so much more, I think, more natural for Team Dignitas, because Variety arguably made a name for himself playing Chang'e.
Well, he also made a name for himself playing the Chang'e at times, and where's the Chang'e bands? It's not there, not present. I think there's just moments of excitement and flavor for whenever Xaliea wants to play whatever he wants to play at any given moment, and I think that's what Dignitas recognized. All right, he stopped playing Chang'e. He likes the Chang'e. Let's take that away from him. Leave the Chang'e open.
Circuit going to be selected next to the Sylvanas. Trixtank just won MVP for his Sylvanas, so we'll see if he can do that again in game number 2. Over on the other side, though, Obey taking Chernobog, the new guy, Discordia. And there's the Chang'e, likely in the hands of Xaliea, as you mentioned. But this one's going to be interesting. Chang'e versus the Chang'e. Chang'e going to lower the healing that we see out of Chang'e. Chang'e can also just burst her down, even with the Moonlight Waltz.
Well, she can regain a lot of mana every single tick of that card, every single tick of the ultimate. You just gain back mana, being able to avoid a lot of that damage. So it's important to see how this matchup goes.
I think a lot of people forget about that aspect of it.
It's definitely a surprise if you're diving a Chang'e that has no mana. She all of a sudden has enough for just one escape, and then you did like an on her Desert Fury for whatever reason randomly, and then she lives, turns it around with a waxing when you're like, oops.
How many times are you ganking with an on her Desert Fury?
I think it was fun. I saw a clip. This is why I remembered it. I forgot who Funballer was against, but Funballer was the on her diving a tier 2 solo tower against some Chang'e, and he died because the Desert Fury got him. Got the mana back for the Chang'e for the waxing.
The little things, man. It's the little things. Good Charlotte told us that in 2002. Geb, the guardian of choice for Obey. Thoth guy for Dignitas. I think that confirms that we'll see Chang'e on the short side of things. And the on her Desert Fury into the Chang'e.
Well, it's going to be Arkkyl on the on her. We could definitely see that happen as the game progresses. You know, sometimes the stars align.
You are clairvoyant, Anatoly.
I'm just above the others.
Who's... I thought... Oh, my goodness. Who's gonna win? Oh, mighty Anatoly.
I think Dignitas are onto something this game, or just this set. They are fueled in fire. They need to get back into the season, or the split rather, because currently looking stagnant. 4-4 currently. They win this set, they'll be at 5-4. They need to win their last set. I believe it's against SK Gaming in week 6, and then they have to hope for a miracle for Rival to lose out.
I really wanted you to play into that. I wanted you to be like, asking my crystal ball or something, but Toly, ever the straight man, just giving us all the facts. Dignitas is where Toly's leaning. I don't need a crystal ball to see this one. Obey and Team Dignitas, game number 2. Let's get into it.
Getting our moment at Toly there on the desk, I suppose, as Tom and Toly do a great job breaking down those picks and bans for us. Finch and Handyman going to bring the game to call. As these looking a little bit more traditional, these drafts here so far.
A little bit more so. I do love the Chang'e pick, though, that's come out from Obey here to answer back this Chang'e in the solo lane. Solo versus solo, Chang'e versus Chang'e. Ever so slight edge to the Chang'e, but there's a circuit that Dignitas have, which could look to focus that.
Who do you all think is going to win? Does that solo edge enough to sway you one way or the other? Or just going to vote with your heart, chat? That's what I always say. Vote with your heart there in the mixer poll. Yeah, I like that. I want to say that.
Vote with your heart?
Never give up. Never stop gaming. Vote with your heart. Any other cliches you can think of? Anybody got any
Vote with your heart? How do you vote with your heart? Just like hit the button?
Yeah, you can use it physically to press the vote
Kano,
button. That's
Mortal
obviously
Kombat
what I
style?
meant. Maybe I meant vote from Rival with your heart. Like, give him your heart. Love him.
Give who?
Vote from Rival. I said that. That's how I opened
he's
that
Scottish. I'm never doing that.
up. Okay. I mean, I didn't know we were going to bring that into this. Okay.
I mean, regional bias really does happen, you know. You can't help it.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
From you all the time.
Past history, I can't help it, you know. We've got a lot of history, unlike the Americans. It's just, we have it. We can't help it.
We did a prolonged 30-minute bit about how America's the best, and I'm calling you regional focused.
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah. Look at this dual lane again, though. There's an interesting start going. Look at the right-hand side. Right-hand side, QvoFred's looking to steal away the buff himself. How do you like it, Sunshine? But meanwhile, look what's going on the right-hand side at the same time.
It's a ton of action all over the map. It's going to be CaptainTwig grouping up with Xaliea to come grab the blue buff, and they left Ataraxia alone in duo.
And he'll be fine on the Chernobog, just to farm up and play safe. The big key is where people get dominance. Now, Obey, they were the ones that went for this sneaky strategy game 1. They've done a similar thing in game 2 to an extent. And because they've done that, you can see the answer back from Dignitas going, well, if you're going to do it, we can do it too.
iRaffer's been kind of rolling around with PrettyPriMe here so far. Already had the sprint expended, it looks like, just to try and get around a little bit faster.
I was looking at iRaffer then. I was looking at Circuit when you said Raffer, but it's not the case. It's Quvo.
That's right. Quvo's on the Circuit. iRaffer's actually playing a Guardian. I don't know who got to him, but I mean, that's what's happened. He's playing a real Guardian this time, but still not going over to duo lane.
It definitely is Raffer's best Guardian as well. His Geb is like out of this world. He's one of the best at it. Variety, though, goes in the pit to pick up his blue, and then finds out there's 2 members here waiting for him.
He's going to have to fall back, though. I know he said he went to go pick up his blue, but I don't know that it really was.
Oh, it is
now. In that case, yeah, I guess so. He's already trying to strip them away. Now he's coming back in. He's managed to bully off Xaliea and iRaffer both. Cards both of them, too, like a bouncer at the door.
There's not enough damage to actually really kill Variety here, but they can whittle his health bar down, whittle down some of those potions he's got in his inventory. The Chalice now remaining with just 1 health potion left remaining in it, so he's going to be a little bit careful in this lane for now. Did go teleport, though, Finch, and that's going to allow him to not worry so much about being poked out.
That's right, as opposed to the meditation that's come out for Xaliea. Both of them kind of are ways to stay sustained without missing farm in a way, but Xalia's is a way that can also maintain his mana if he ends up not being able to secure his blue buff repeatedly or anything like that.
Would like to see maybe the dual lane here freeze a little bit more, and it looks like they're trying to do that, Dignitas. Freeze off Ataraxia from the wave, make sure he loses some experience, and it's just all about denying as much farm as possible, forcing the support to come back over to help out.
Doesn't look like that's what's on Raffer's mind, though. My man is chilling. Whatever his plan is, he's sticking to it. His Twig comes for the invade on the speed buff. Looks like it was dropped by Quvo, but now Quvo has to run away defensively.
Level 3s, you can kind of feel how much damage you're going to do and go, okay, no one's going to die here, but life will be lost. Twig didn't get the speed, which was actually really important, because Quvo now getting that means he's securing his own jungle, and Twig going to go for a cheeky blue steal,
but look at these
Variety
pings
on the way.
Quvo's let him know exactly where he is. They were definitely pointing this out on the map. Comes in with the stun, Cobra's Kiss, and the ambush to follow up perfectly. But really not going to have much chance to kill him on his own here, Quvo.
No, you know the real key about this? The Acorn. The Acorn's actually helping him out so much more so now. It gives you a little bit more movement speed than normal boots do, and because you can buy it in the jungle, well, it means that speed buff and boots 1 aren't going to be enough to continue the chase.
Not going to be able to keep up with CaptainTwig after all, who comes back and grabs his own speed buff this time. Xaliea
that was early.
Uses it too early. Now he could be in trouble. Did have the heal still available, but the stun too good. Variety gets first blood. Xaliea, I think, was trying to be preemptive.
Yeah, I mean, I could criticize a little bit of how quick the card combo came up from Variety. You could have just left the card hitting on Xaliea for a second or 2, and it would have been easier for the exorcism kill, but it's not doom and gloom, as that beads were just consumed by Ataraxia on the left-hand side. That's problematic.
Yeah, it's going to make this even easier for Arkkyl and Trixtank to potentially find some kills here. Now, Ataraxia might not be in too much trouble if he's forced back to base. You can, once he has his ult, you can kind of come in and quickly like dash away and use as a free way back to base without too much punish, but if they can force him back repeatedly, they can eventually start to strip him of some farm.
So Raph is kind of doing what we could have expected to see at the start of Season 5 with supports, where they become almost a secondary jungler, hovering around the mid-area, picking up farm from the enemy jungle most of the time, being a distraction, knowing that the enemy dual lane is still in position. This is something that can definitely work in your favor, but it can also hinder some of your rolls a little bit on hitting those levels. Look at the difference in mid laners now, because Raph has spent so much time towards this mid-area.
It really just depends, doesn't it? It means that Ataraxia is going to be pushed under tower, but he's getting solo farm. But who else is Raffer stealing the farm from on the back end? Finding that balance is what Obey is going to have to do. But this is something that Geb can do really well. That rollout gets him around the map so quickly.
Well, the one thing that you're going to see here as well, though, is that the early game, the mid-jungle composition is so strong in the early stages that you lose that and it can cause you some issues. By having iRaffer here on the Geb in the mid lane all the way through pretty much, it means it's very unlikely it's a 2v2. If anything, we'll go back to a 3v3. So it slows down the early game that Dig could put together with someone like a Circuit up against the likes of a Ratatoska and Discordia.
Geb can be very strong into Circuit. That's very fair. QvoFred might have a slightly harder time, though they're able to find a nice kill on Xaliea over here in the solo lane earlier, catching him trying to go over to his blue buff and repeatedly stealing that one. So I think that's why we're seeing his meditation out, perhaps predicting that he'd be under some pressure, and that is a way for him to still maintain some mana.
Tell you what, this is one of those solo lanes that you've seen time and time before. But these two players, like, they've been around since Season 1, both of them, and fought against each other. Time in the sun for Xaliea, where he was classed as the best solo laner in the world.
Yes.
Time for Variety, where he was classed as the best solo laner in the world. And now they're both in a tricky situation, just trying to get to LAN.
CaptainTwig coming in and trying to strip away the buff. Xaliea whiffs on the Waxing Moon. No
Good
stun
shield.
coming out. Variety drops the ultimate. Ataraxia is here as well.
Good
The Living
ult.
Nightmare. Knock up is going to keep Variety locked in. Ataraxia gets that first kill for Obey.
Baited by Xaliea, that's what that was there. He did that on purpose. He missed,
sure.
He missed the Waxing Moon,
Sure.
knowing that Dig would all in him, and then straight away, rotation comes out to save the day. Love the call from Dig on the Gold Fury, though.
This is the way that you punish it. This is about as old as Smite gets, right? Is when there's an overcommit on the right side, come over to the left and grab Gold Fury, and Dignitas happy to come over and take it. Arkkyl got a little bit low there for a moment, but got some help from the team, and they should be fine.
And this is a very similar tale to really what we saw earlier on Rival versus SK. Sure, kills might be going in your favor, but objectives and gold, different story. Dignitas now even things up and take the lead in gold because of that Gold Fury.
I want to make sure that you sincerely made the case that Xaliea missed the ult on purpose.
He did. Tweet at Xaliea will respond entirely that he missed it on purpose.
I'm sure you will.
He put the enemy team into a false sense of security. That's what it was.
Right. You were that's your announcer pack.
It is.
Yeah, I rock that occasionally.
You do?
No.
I don't.
Me neither.
I hate my voice.
You know, luckily, since I came in third, I can listen to Ron Jobert's announcer pack.
Well, that's the main thing, you know.
So I can rock his.
Getting beat by Ron, this is all.
Feels bad, doesn't it?
I know.
Oh man. Oh well. Let that silence hang in the air.
Well, you're the main cast. I'm analyst today. You're supposed to be the one that does stuff.
That's right. You're.
Yeah, don't sit there
the
like
easier
pausing at
job.
me. That's not my
Oh,
job.
sorry if the sadness creeped in just now, Graham. If the crushing realization that I'm with the guy that voted me off.
But you deserve to go off, did you not?
You still did it.
I still employed you too.
That was nice.
I mean, come on, like you can't like. I must be so savage.
You are.
I am.
I've kind of brought it back around now, where I force you to be nice, try and get away from being savage. I
I've
think.
never been nice.
You were
once in
just
my
nice
life.
just now. You hired
Never
me.
been-
You were being nice.
I mean,
about
that
it.
wasn't a nice thing. I just didn't want to cast as much.
All right, so now you're a savage. And
But now I'm
lazy.
still casting anyway, so it doesn't make a difference, does it? Hey.
This interesting early start, though, kind of still favoring Dignitas at least a little bit here so far, Graham. And we can see it in the mid lane, but take a look at Twig over QvoFred. That is one area where it's favoring Obey pretty substantially.
Well, that's one of the things because we saw Twig go for the pressure early on. So go for the just farming as Twig really likes to do in the early game. Quvo, meanwhile, went for a couple of gank attempts and did manage to find one, which helped him out a little bit on that right-hand side of the map. And the solo lane is definitely where the action's really been so far in this game. This Chang'e versus Zhonghui is going to draw attention time and time again. And if Variety keeps playing as deep as he is, as in going towards the tower and keeping Xaliea pinned, it's going to open up that Ratatoska ult to come over and maybe pressure this out.
That's going to be one area where they want to try and use their early lead. Ataraxia has done well over here in the duo lane as well, but take a look. He's gone into this Ichvile second item. No stacking coming out from him yet. No lifesteal, no sometimes there's Transcendence. I mean, this is curious as Ataraxia changes the build path up a bit.
Well, it's going to give you some power, and it's one of the best boxing tools in the kit is the
Good.
Ichvile from times gone by. You steal away the power from an enemy and give it yourself. It's not doom and gloom by any stretch. And with the penetration too, it can get under notice sometimes. It makes you box a little bit better. When you think you're against an Anher, for example, probably one of the best 1v1 boxers. Not the best, but one of the best because of his passive giving him penetration. This can kind of answer that back a little bit, but it does mean you're not going to have a stacking item for the time being.
Yeah, it's a bridge item, right? It's very cost effective, and so I kind of want to see Ataraxia use that spike aggressively here in the dual lane, where he's kind of just been clearing and going about his business. Well, if you're just going to clear and go about your business, why not get a stacking item? As CaptainTwig loops in on the backside, QvoFred low, stun does land, but Zyrhoes responds to the evade and punish. Quvo goes into the last breath, but is going to fall, and so is Twig. They trade their lives 1 for 1.
Yeah, I think Twig really made a mistake there by not beads so early. bead. QvoFred immediately turns around, kisses him. No beads came out from Twig whatsoever. Same could be said for Cuvo. They both started beads this game. They're both playing like they had Blink, though, which I completely understand, because most of the time they do that. They forget they had the beads available.
And they kind of just, maybe just both not willing to admit that they're worried. So they don't want to use the purification beads. But
Being in bed, that's what it is.
That's right. They both go back to base and like, I'm still not that scared.
Yeah, I'll save it for the next one. Trust me. It'll come in handy.
Yeah, but either way, they both end up taking a spill.
Yeah, they both end up taking a spill, but it's not doom and gloom. This game is going to be another one that goes on a while. I mean, even though Dignitas do have a lead here, they're going to continue just to farm up and wait for a later stage of the game. It's all about positioning then. The problem is that Cuvo wants to gank, but there's no one to gank because every lane is pressured, which means Obey can just allow this to continue happening and then wait patiently. Arkkyl really wanted that kill.
Commits the Desert Fury, but CaptainTwig wants to come over and punish. Purification beads keeps him alive, but he's running towards iRaffer. I don't know if there's really safety here. Shockwave finds the kill. Obey Alliance go up 3-2.
And as I was saying, Obey just sits back and Cuvo can't really gank everything because all the lanes are pressured, but the same can be said for Twig. He can look for opportunities, and Arkkyl, impatient. He wanted to get some pressure onto Ataraxia. He didn't have the wall coverage to know where Twig was. Twig comes in straight after he's used both his leap, his ultimate. Sure, the beads were consumed on the knockup, but it was still going to be followed up by the Acorn.
Yeah, even without the knockup, they were able to follow without too much trouble, and a good rotation over from iRaffer along with Trixtank to kind of beat that Sylvanas there and make sure they're able to lock him down. But take a look at this. In response, Arkkyl starting to build into perhaps another Mag Ice Cloak early on.
Well, the Mag Ice Cloak early on isn't too bad in this situation, in my opinion, just because of what Ataraxia chose to do in his build. Because he went for the Iqval second, it means that Ataraxia's build isn't going to get out of control for Arkkyl to deal with. The Devourer's Gauntlet's already online and stacked up for him. He's fine to go for the Magi's Cloak here and go, yeah, me and Ataraxia, you know, at this moment in time, it's going to make us even for the time being, but that's okay.
It's interesting, right? Because Ataraxia kind of gave up a little bit on his late game build to get a little bit more power now at the bridge item, and Arkkyl is giving up some later as QvoFred gets caught out by the Cataclysm, jumps away. Goes up into the air, though, does Ataraxia. I think he might be looking to try and dash in. No, he's going to come right back down, just provide that slow for everyone else.
Yeah, notice the difference there as well. The beads immediately used by Zyrhoes in that engagement. Cuvo held him again, surprisingly enough. Just not going to beads out of that and worry about it. Just took the damage and walked away. I think Obey could have looked at Tough there, more so than looking at QvoFred. Yeah. That seemed to have been the call. Obey wanted to pick the Circuit. I think Tough was the easier target of the two, especially because you just saw the beads were consumed.
And I know that Cuvo didn't die from that one, but at a certain point, if you're not using the beads, you should just have Blink, right? Like, you could be blinking in on people since you're so stubborn about these beads. Cuvo is going to jump in aggressively, finds the Cobra's Kiss, but iRaffer right there with the Geb Shield to try and help him out. Apple comes out in response. Twig can't find anyone with the knockup either. Now Variety is here. Obey dropped quite a few ults, and all they have is that PrettyPriMe still alive.
It was an interesting engagement. Nothing really comes of it. It was a good shield from iRaffer at the right sort of time. Zyrhoes and Trix weren't really in range to support Cuvo's engagement there as PrettyPriMe got back to the tower safety just in time and even held his beads, trusting fully in iRaffer, which is a good play.
Everybody been very cautious with their beads. He's very, very patient. And up to this point, it hasn't hurt them that much. Only been 5 total kills in 13 minutes. Maybe a couple times you're forced back early, but at this point, it's still relatively even.
To be fair, Finch, though, holding beads is an important mind game that's important to both teams, because once those beads are consumed, it means you are susceptible to more CC chains after the fact. So playing that mind game of, can I get away with not using beads here? Yes, no? It's a big difference.
And it's early. You know, you don't get quite as punished here in the early game as you might later on by those beads, so they can be a little bit more liberal with the use now as long as they tighten that up late game, because you're not going to be walking away from a QvoFred Cobra's Kiss, or if you're QvoFred and you're the one getting CC'd quite as easily as you did around the 10-minute mark.
Definitely interested to see where the build choices go as the game continues now, because obviously Chang'e and Sylvanas both have some sustain in their kits, and they're both going to end up making an impact, especially with Xaliea having a meditation. Yeah. It's screaming to me that Dig should be looking for some anti-heals somewhere in the build at some stage.
It does feel a bit like doubling down on the sustain, doesn't it? Xaliea healing and going with the meditation. So it does make that anti-heal a little bit better. But look at this, Ataraxia now going with the Devourer's Gauntlet a little bit later on in the build. So he's at 12 stacks, about 30 behind Arkkyl, so he wanted it. He just wanted it later on.
Well, because the Devourer's Gauntlet's boot stack from Arkkyl started off a little bit earlier, what ended up happening there, that Iqval actually made him even for a moment or two.
Sure.
The Magi's has kind of pushed it more defensive from Arkyl's point of view, but Ataraxia is going to have a little bit more damage at this point, even with a fewer stacks. I didn't think Arkkyl had fully stacked till he hadn't. He hadn't even got a single stack yet. So, if anything, definitely more survivability for Arkkyl. Arkkyl, definitely more power from Ataraxia.
Yeah, because of how the game has gone now, this probably just is better for Ataraxia because earlier on he had the Ick Vow to close the gap. Arkkyl goes Magai's Cloak, as you said. Had Arkkyl maybe been able to successfully fight earlier on while he had the Devil Gloves and Ataraxia didn't, it might have been a different story. But now, you know, Ataraxia should be fine.
Well, just look at the difference of what happened. Hang on a second.
QvoFred deleted. Never got to play.
Beads were up, beads were down. Beads are still up. Didn't matter. I'm not trying to pick on people for not using beads. I'm just noticing that they've not been used. Meanwhile, look at this. Nate in mid lane.
Ataraxia's gone in aggressively with the ultimate. Ataraxia, or rather iRaffer, it's 2 members with a Cataclysm. But Wrath of Terror is good in response. 2-man route into the pull, finds no one. But a good apple comes out. Variety has to fall back. Obey Alliance get a clean pick, and now they're on the retreat.
Yeah, with Kivo getting bursted down there, that Hydra's really coming into play nicely with those recent buffs it got. Obey, a bit of a power play here, especially knowing they've got a Discordia that can group them all up. Prime will have to escape back, but the one thing he's got, the amount of damage that he can do in setup by so many members of Obey that want to stay around the same sort of area, it's going to cause them some problems.
Twig waiting on the backside, has the through the Cosmos, looking for potentially Trixtank, knocks him up, has the stun. Hydra's helping out a good bit, but QvoFred comes in with a little bit of control in the last breath. Not going to be actually proc the poison.
That shit was big.
But Variety's here. He's coming through as well.
Yeah, the chase is on, however, and all the members of Obey are trying to scatter away from the Ghost. In goes right, and a great knockup from Arkkyl will make sure Ataraxia falls, but they're getting low.
Strife hit everybody from PrettyPriMe.
They're
That's
getting
been
low.
the big turnaround. Xalia's going to go forward first. He's still holding on to the ultimate, but the stun creates plenty of space. QvoFred comes in, controls 2. Xaliea still holding on to the ult. Hasn't found an opportunity.
The chain on the waxing moon will pick up Variety, who hung around. Xaliea will escape. He'll actually stay alive as well with Arkkyl thanks to the Aegis. What a crazy play. You just saw the dancing lady through the jungle going, it's a field day, but the CC chain from Dig was so good.
I don't know. Obey Alliance went into that fight with a substantial advantage. That it's even leaving it is a pretty big win for Team Dignitas. I don't know how much credit I want to give over to Obey on that one.
Well, look at it. I mean, Zhang for Ataraxia, that's kind of how that game went down there. No Gold Fury attempt, but it started up again by Obey. They've got Sustain to do it. Only Trixtank is here.
Trixtank is around. That's enough to pull them off, at least for the moment. They want to come grab the
back.
kill. Ataraxia flies right back in. Root is going to land. Apple, but the 3-man knockup creates a little bit more space. Now Arkkyl hits the perfect impale to push CaptainTwig back up against the wall.
A Trick survives, and now it's a turnaround again. QvoFred's around.
Why
respawns for Dig?
Why drop it and go so much on Trix there?
Well, it's because they thought he was on his own and no one was around. That was just good play from Arkkyl.
Yes.
The wall and the pillar, the pillar and the impale was the 2 things that kept his teammate alive.
QvoFred now is going to come see if we maybe stop this red buff. Again, Obey Alliance were the ones looking for the Gold Fury, and they could not find it. Team Dignitas have managed to force them back. In fact, they're the ones grabbing a tier 1 in mid to get not just a little bit of gold, but some map control, and they're going to come right back and start up the Gold Fury. Twig is still down for a few more seconds. He'll have the ultimate, but everyone's zoned out. In fact, Ataraxia might be more than zoned. He's dead. Final Judgment, last breath combination. Beautiful from Team Dignitas, and they're going to chase down Xaliea.
Oh, QvoFred, that was glorious. He deathbane through Ataraxia and immediately ulted Xaliea before he could even respond. Xaliea, though, still alive for the moment, and he will trade out thanks to Prime's help. Meanwhile, the Gold Fury does fall Finch, but Twig going to the sky.
Through the Cosmos, going to come down on Zyrhoes. Aegis to immunity follow-up damage, leads right back to the rest of the team. Strife is great again to bring Arkkyl low, but iRaffer kind of left isolated on the back end. If Arkkyl turns around, it's a free kill, but he wants Prime. Blink from iRaffer keeps him alive. Now Arkkyl recognizes that Geb's a target. Root catches him during the rollout, and Zyrhoes kills him.
Yeah, Trixtank makes some good plays in that little engagement there. A little bit greedy from Dignitas, going for the pick onto the back line more than anything else, trying to pick off some of the squishier targets instead of just taking down the gap, but it doesn't hurt them in the end. Dignitas get the tier 1 tower, 7-6. Gold lead slowly climbing up.
There's been a lot of greediness in this game so far, hasn't it? These two teams don't really want to show, I think, any weakness to any other than any of the other teams. They really kind of want to be able to come in and impose their will in this match as CaptainTwig meets Variety here in the solo lane. But Gold Fury goes down for Dig. They get the tower in mid. They get the tower in duo. They grab quite a few kills. It's nearly a 4,000 gold lead for them. This was very even a moment ago.
Well, the funny thing is, if you actually look at the levels, yeah, gold's one thing, but the levels are relatively even. The only real difference is Zyrhoes in the mid lane, who's got a 3-level lead over PrettyPriMe. The rest of this game, though, it's anyone's. The solo laners aren't level 20 yet, or even approaching it, just because we've had so much action, which they've been a part of.
That's actually a very good point. They haven't really been farming and getting far ahead. In fact, Xaliea a little bit behind even CaptainTwig. In fact, might be caught out now as there's 4 members. Laximoon does hit Variety, but last breath into the Wrath of Terror, into the final judgment. Strife, though, hits everybody. Apple comes through, only landing on Variety. Trixtank pulls CaptainTwig back in as Variety gets collapsed on by 3 members.
And Variety will fall down to Ataraxia as that combines with PrettyPriMe to pick up the kill. Cataclysm out from Raph, and the roll that will slow down Trix.
Now Trixtank is going to be the target. CaptainTwig dashes in. Rapper here to tank up the tower, and Ataraxia finds yet another kill. Obey Alliance have found a way to answer back. 4 members strong. They're going to come back towards Pyro, but Arkkyl is getting tier 2.
Which is a win for Dignitas. Yeah, kills mean something. Objectives that you can't get a Titan until you get the towers down first.
That's right.
Pyromancer goes to Obey, but round the back, QvoFred with
double!
a double!
What? QvoFred comes through and deletes. He's got a chance to go for Raffer and even potentially get a triple. Now Ataraxia is there. The blink over the wall. Not going to find him. Ataraxia forces him away. QvoFred now has to try and get a little bit further out.
Raffer smelt that coming too, and he blinked at the same time as QvoFred did. These guys are both all well-tuned with each other and know how risky and how rewarding some of these kills can be. But it's all about objectives at the end of the day, and Dignitas are winning that as well as the kills, to be honest.
And that's netted them a 5,700 gold lead, almost 4,000 experience. A lot of that, as you highlighted, in the mid lane between Zyrhoes and PrettyPriMe. But this game feels like a mental one more than anything else between these teams. The way they're holding their beads, the engagements they're choosing to take, going back in from QvoFred. I mean, they're trying to show who's really dominant here as Raffer gets pulled back into the stun.
That firing might come up too at the worst possible time for Raffer. It's not even needed. As the fire giant reset the Impale after the fact from Arkkyl beautifully. Just takes out Raffer. Now it's a 4v5, and I'm feeling kind of confident with him, Dig, here to go for this.
I think so, too. They've got the Fire Giant pulled. Ataraxia is nearby. Prime's on his way. But CaptainTwig's up in the air. He's going to land down to QvoFred, turn back towards Trix, but gets stunned and burned in response. But the Waxing Moon from Xaliea hits nearly everybody. Variety already out of the equation. Dignitas have to retreat.
Big Waxing Moon from Xaliea there. Dignitas just lined up, unfortunately, in the perfect position for Obey just to be able to isolate Variety then, because everybody else was sleeping for half a century. That's what the Waxing Moon can bring you.
What a big ultimate there from Xaliea. Chang'e really can turn things around if he can find an ultimate quite like that. CaptainTwig, though, found the ultimate initially that knocked up a couple members and created that opening. Fire Giant still standing. In fact, Obey going to come grab a tier 1 tower of their own.
And notice that's the first tower that Obey have taken so far. They've been going for the bigger objectives in terms of the Fire Giant and the Pyromancer. I think it's time to just start taking the small advantages now. You know, tier 1 here, tier 1 there. Where possible, just start to inch back this bit of a lead on the map that Dignitas have.
Well, that play was pretty big in and of itself to help taking that back, but you're right, they've got to find some of these smaller ones too. It doesn't always have to be the Gold Fury. That's what Dig have done. I mean, they've gotten some tier 1 towers, Pyro when it's there, some buff invades, and been able to build this lead. It's not as if they have a bunch more kills, right? They're very close.
You are right indeed. And so far, this game has been really, it's about how the team fights are going for Dignitas, because Obey have a game plan of using Ratatoska to engage for them, Rapper to follow up if required. The difference is that when Variety is smelling these engages, you'll see him run at the back line of Obey multiple times on the Zhonghui of going, hey guys, you want to get to this team fight? Well, guess what? I'm going to be in your face to begin with. That seems to be the plan from Dig, and it's working. It's working consistently.
Not making it easy for Obey as Gold Fury gets looked at. Rapper blinks in, Cataclysm onto 2. Apple not going to be there for the follow-up, but they forced some beads out from some members of Dignitas that were around. Gold Fury leashed for now. Obey are still grouped up. They don't have Prime or Raffer's ults, but they still have some other big ults.
But that's a big win for Dignitas there. They didn't really use anything in that engagement other than Arkkyl's beads. If you think about that in the grand scheme of things, getting the Apple and the Cataclysm down and the Blink, I'll take it.
That's right. QvoFred has the Magai's cloak, so didn't need the CC immunity to be able to get away from the Cataclysm there. It'll be down for another 40 seconds, but they still can come pull this Gold Fury right now. Variety going to be on zoning duty. Raffer rolls in. Up into the sky goes CaptainTwig. He forces them off the Gold Fury for now, but gets a 2-man knockup, but immediately gets stunned in return.
Dig wants to reset this if they can, but Cuvo's trying to make sure that happens by jumping in. Ataraxia under pressure. He's going to fall back, and this is a good play from Dig again. They get the ultimate out of Twig.
They've been able to bait in Obey Alliance several times. Xaliea is still holding onto that Waxing Moon. Trixtank gets striped.
far forward.
Waxing Moon hits 2, and Trixtank goes down first. Next up is going to be Zyrhoes. He's got plenty of damage, and Xaliea falls to Arkkyl in response. Ataraxia going to come in looking for the root, can't find on the Qvo, who ambushes away.
Zyrhoes is just whacking at the backline the whole time. He's only got 1 hit from death, and that little sparkle won't be enough to kill him, but Arkyl's in trouble too. The pillar will separate him. This game is crazy.
It's been the smallest of margins, game 1 and game 2, that separates these two teams. Gold Fury being looked at, but Variety lurking around the water. He comes through, can't quite find him, but he does get the kill.
Did steal it.
Did get the Gold Fury, and Variety trying to retreat.
Variety's still alive though, and Prime going to try and juke him out. Cod comes out. The heal will top him up. Zhonghui forever. iRaffer may get a kill, but the stun from Variety, he's still alive.
Now Variety will live. QvoFred gets the double kill. Lap spam. You've earned it, buddy. Variety takes the Gold Fury, still alive.
What a game.
full-on deicide for Team Dignitas, rather, as Obey Alliance sitting on some respawn timers, and they're moving their way over to the Fire Giant. It's well earned.
Yeah, this Fire Giant more than likely will go down. No teleport for Xaliea to get over here in time. Ultimate still on cooldown too. What an engagement. That some of the plays in this game, Finch, you can go back through the game tape time and time again and talk about all the little individual plays that people are making to keep their team in it.
This is insane. One of the better games I've seen here from this summer split. I mean, they are really sets, rather. They've been playing at such a high level. And if this ends up a 2, I'm not saying it's over yet by any means, but that would not belie how close it's been.
The second to last week of the Pro League in any split is always the most entertaining to watch. A lot of fans don't realize that, but that's where teams do or die most of the time. They end up going to the last week going, all right, well, it's out of our hands, or, okay, we've already done it. It's not really about week 6 so much. This one, though, this week, one of these teams is not going to be making land because of this set. And at the moment, it's looking like Obey again won't be going.
Well, Dignitas are playing like they recognize just how high those stakes are. Tier 2 tower comes tumbling down. And you heard in the interview that Tom did before this set where they talked to Trix, right? He understands how important coming in this set is, but they didn't feel like they could do quite as much practice as they would have liked. They wanted to do a little bit more. Even still, Dignitas still look very strong and well prepared.
They do, but they've stuck to pretty much true consistent compositions that we've seen them do before, right? Whereas Obey, a little bit more out there, a little bit trying to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, and try and cause them some problems.
Is that an English
phrase? It is. You throw the cat in with the pigeon coop, because what do the pigeons do? They all panic, right?
Oh.
You get it?
I guess, yeah.
So that's what Obey were trying to do here to Dig, make them panic a little bit.
And it looks like that might have been working. iRaffer could certainly be caught out. Another good impale from Arkkyl, puts him up against the wall.
Okay,
and the pillar is nice too. Raph has the sprint and the shield.
No, he's dead. I don't get when iRaffer goes on these tears sometimes, man. He did it in game 1, he's doing it in game 2. Like, why are you that far up on your own as Geb? Sure, you're Geb, but you not being in part of your team is going to cause some problems.
That's another 40 seconds. They will be without this Geb. Obey are grouped in mid. They'll
Probably
grab this tier 1 tower, but Team Dignitas should just ignore this and push. That's what Variety's doing.
He might get away with it, iRaffer, again, but this is a couple of times now where I just see him like so deep down. If iRaffer saw any other support doing that, he'd call him out too. So I'm not upset by saying this because he shouldn't be that far forward in zone.
No, he certainly recognizes that. You know, he didn't need to die there. Trixtank going to tank up for the moment. Strife hits 2. Variety going to be the front line here, so Arkkyl can come in and find some shots onto the Phoenix. He's been brought down to about half HP. Now they're going to have minions in to remove the protections. This Phoenix should go down for Team Dig, and they're going to get CaptainTwig. Arkkyl on a rampage as he takes down the jungler.
No, he could. Oh, if Ataraxia gets this, though, I don't think he will. He's not enough minions here on this right-hand side to really help him out. He's going to need another wave or two, and especially with Qvo coming back, Ataraxia's going to dip out. But he could ult towards mid lane and turn this around.
He absolutely could come back and join the fray as Team Dig are going to look for the tier 2. Obey Alliance want to defend, even though there's only 3 members here.
They should fight this.
They're going to fight on this tier 2 and not give it up for free. Strife hits onto Variety and Arkkyl for good poke, but they got to fall back now. Tier 2 going to be given over to Team Dig.
Yeah, Ataraxia didn't want to use his ultimate there. Instead, he just chose to back to base, give up the tier 2, which is fine. It's all about the next 2 Phoenixes. These 2 are critical now. One more Phoenix goes down, I think Dig's game.
It certainly could be going the way of Team Dignitas. Variety, though, is such a menace on the front line, able to just walk forward, gets the pull on Xaliea, he gets pulled back in, but iRaffer gets the 2-man cataclysm into the shockwave, but he could pay for it. QvoFred comes in and provides good damage of his own.
Defense successful then from Obey that time round, and now Twig is alive, and Dignitas have to be aware of that, because if Twig goes up and they don't notice it, they could all clump and end up dying.
Relics, though, still very much available for Team Dignitas. They weren't very pressured there at all. They're going to heal up with the Fire Giant buff, and Trixtank's Wisps, and they're going to be able to push in one more time. Trix blinks in, Wrath the Terra. Apple comes out in response, but the target early on is Raffer. Final Judgment doesn't land, but QvoFred doesn't need it.
Trixtank did a very good job there. Uses the Wisps first of all, then engages, knowing he's got the Lotus Crown proc for himself and his team. Just makes him a little bit tanky for a little bit longer. 2-for-1 exchange, Phoenix at half health.
This is favoring Team Dignitas. Xaliea taking some poke by the way of Zyrhoes. 27k damage. He's been a nightmare so far for Obey to try and deal with. Strife comes in. It does hit Arkkyl, but he responds with the Aegis. PrettyPriMe. Nowhere to go. Zyrhoes find him. Xalia's got to retreat. Meditation comes out, but Mid-Phoenix has already been taken down. Ataraxia goes up into the air, but he can either come right back down or not. He's dead. Variety takes him out as well.
Respawns. I'm looking at 10 seconds of Rapid. Just Xaliea alive. No ultimate available. How long on Xalia's ultimate? It's him versus the world here.
It's just him to try and defend up against 4 members. Team Dignitas with a chance to take the set. Xaliea does have the immunity, makes it back to the fountain. He jukes
everything.
But they turn their attention back towards the Titan. It's at half HP, but they can't quite end.
You know what there, Finch? If they don't go for Xaliea, they probably end the game. And instead, Obey survive. And they're respawning. Twigs in the sky. He can jump 3 times to get in range, but Toph dashes away in time.
Evade and punish pretty good, as it turns out. Raffer coming towards the mid lane, but can't make it to Zyrhoes. Not going to find the stun either. Is going to dash in for the slow. Beads and evade and punish. Gets Zyrhoes out yet again, but they got to go back. Look at these minions pouring into the Titan room. They got the Titan down to about half HP. They don't want to see it in like this. PrettyPriMe is going to come in for the defense.
Yeah, it'll be okay. They're not SK. Don't worry about that one. It won't happen again. Fire Giant, though, has respawned, and Dignitas can head straight over there now, because there's not a whole lot Obey can do against this Fire Giant. They probably just need to either send one man, no man towards this. Those Phoenixes are more important. The left one coming up soon.
Arkkyl going to start it up by himself. CaptainTwig is at those XP camps, but no, he's not going to move in and try and defend this either. Dignitas, once they get this Fire Giant, they really only need to breathe on that Titan to bring it down. Phoenix and left will probably respawn before that siege, but it won't be enough for the Titan to start healing.
Classy play from Zyrhoes so far this game. If you watch back the game tape just from Zyrhoes' point of view, not really put many foot wrong at all in this game.
No.
Maybe once in the jungle when he beats early on around the 3-4 minute mark, there was a window where he could have been susceptible, but since then, position's been pretty damn solid out of that mid laner.
No, 4-0-10, top of the player damage charts over a Chang'e. Not an easy task, and Variety has certainly been playing well and doing tons of damage. They want right Phoenix. They're not going to give Obey Alliance a moment to breathe or a chance to regroup. Variety moves in through mid. It's just Arkkyl and Trixtank over in solo. Raffer blinks into solo Cataclysm onto Variety of all people, and it nets them nothing so far. He drops the ultimate. Up in the air is CaptainTwig, but again, a lot committed onto the tanky Chang'e.
Meanwhile, on the backside of this whole fight going on, Prime gets taken out by QvoFred. Twig getting chased down by Arkkyl too. This Titan's so low, by the way, and no one's even paying attention to it. Left on Phoenix is going to go down for free, thanks to those fire minions pouring in, but Dignitas not feeling healthy enough just yet. They need to regen a little bit.
They've got plenty of time to come over to this right Phoenix and grab it. They have a minion wave here. They got to go defend left.
You know what this is, by the way? This game should be over. The difference is Digger having bad thoughts about the past experiences of throwing games in this position, and that waxing moon may just turn it around.
Xaliea comes in for the stun, but he's all alone. There wasn't a follow-up. He's still alive for now to escape. CaptainTwig goes in aggressive, but takes a lot of poke in return. But this is fine. Dignitas can just heal it up and sustain. They've got Fire Giant. They've got Wisps.
They can, but they're playing it so slow because they're so scared. That's the problem here. They're so scared of making the mistakes they've done previously against teams that they're just taking it a little bit too slow. They should still close this out, mind you. Like, it's not wrong. It's just questionable about the way they're going about it.
They're being very, very cautious. I mean, the Titan only has half HP at this point. They could just go all in it, but they just don't want to let anything go wrong.
Zyrhoes has his ult, too. That's the other thing.
Raffer goes in aggressive with the rollout, but gets caught out, has to retreat. Variety is trying to take down Xaliea. Raffer falls very early to Zyrhoes. Arkkyl gets deleted there by PrettyPriMe, and the Apple Twig goes up onto through the Cosmos. Is looking for a target to try and land on, but Xaliea is already gone.
Twig, though, going to jump down, and that's definitely going to be a dead Trixtank in this situation. Is he going to die?
Looks like that was
Okay,
enough.
I
They
wasn't
are
sure
able
if
to
they were
get the
gonna do
Titan
that.
there. In the end, Game 2 goes over to Team Dignitas. The set goes over to Team Dignitas. That might be it for Obey's LAN hopes, but Team Dignitas are not done yet.
What a great game. That was a really
was a
entertaining
great
set
set,
between
yeah.
the two, honestly. Seen a couple of those from Europe this season, a little bit more so than North America.
Yeah.
Definitely worth investing to watch.
Well, I mean, it's very close all the way through number 5 over here
Yeah.
in Europe. They all had equal claims to trying to make their way to LAN. Now, a little bit less for Obey. They just dropped this set, but Dig certainly have moved up with that win and are still in the running.
It's not terrible for Obey, though. I mean, summer split, obviously you want to make to LAN every single time, but the fall split is where everything's so important. And with how they progress from spring to summer, you're hopeful as an Obey fan for fall.
Oh, I mean, if you had to pick a split to do well in, it would be fall, right?
Let's
And
pick one.
Obey have been slowly building up towards it, so you can't be feeling too discouraged, especially with some of the strats they pulled out, especially there in Game 1. Clearly they're workshopping and they're trying to figure out something new.
They are, and you can see that they're trying to just mess around a little bit, try and find something that can work for them.
Yeah.
Same time, though, they've got some errors that they've got to correct on, but Hazer should be on that job to fix it for fall. If he's not, then I don't know what else to say.
That's him. That's on him, isn't it? He's doing it full-time, coaching for the squad, making sure they're looking as good as possible. And who looked as good as possible in this game? I tried with that segue. Don't make that sound. We got to pick one in the Mixer poll as your MVP.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I'd go for here. Zyrhoes had a solid game throughout, so I couldn't really say anything other than
I think that'd be fair.
maybe Zyrhoes. It could be a couple of them. There's a lot of plays in that went unnoticed, probably to the naked eye.
Yeah, Variety looked excellent as well on that Chang'e. I know how much chat loves him, so I think you got 2 good mages to pick from here for your MVP.
Who got the most kills?
Who got the most? That's what they really want to see, right?
Who
was
got the most kills? That's what the vote should be for.
Instead of MVP, just who got? Just can you guys look down and see who had the most?
Bet you they don't actually do that. They'll just go for who they like the most.
Who they like the most. Well, we'll get it back over to the desk to break down that set and let us know more about what they think happened.
Thanks a lot, friendos. Tom and Tolly bringing you the TNT, because this one was explosive.
It was a great set, honestly, by Obey. Despite losing it, Dignitas closing it out very cleanly. Obey got ahead of themselves, unfortunately. During that one Gold Fury in the mid-game, Xaliea saw blood in his eyes as he takes out Trixtank, but the rest just started following like dominoes. It was a great flank out of Variety's Chang'e with a QvoFred's double kill, snatching the Gold Fury away and snatching the game away.
I mean, at the end of the day, just when you have a 10-kill game, something's going in your direction. Dignitas show up and QvoFred, 10, 5, and 15. Crazy.
Crazy stuff, but Zyrhoes going 6-0-12. Pretty good for himself on the Thoth. Not a single death, doing, honestly, Thoth a lot of justice, utilizing the dash effectively to disengage.
I mean, you know, Agro and I were talking at lunch. You were there, actually.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
We were talking about Thoth yesterday, and really what it comes down to is that the conversation was, is he first pick or first bannable? Do you really want to ban Thoth with so many other characters available? And the conversation was, well, against Zyrhoes, maybe. he's a unique player there on the Thoth.
And Variety was the MVP. Despite all this talk about QvoFred and Zyrhoes, your jungler or mid laner, the solo lane Chang'e making it happen in game number 2. And I think most of it comes down to that hot Gold Fury steal.
Yeah, really big stuff there on the objectives. And at the end of the day, Variety on the Chang'e. This is a pairing of character and
that stun
player. Oof. That just is historic at this point. I don't even think that's too gigantic of a word. This guy came on the scene playing the character and doing the character justice. And here he is. I also think part of it is just people like seeing Chang'e. He's rarely played, if ever, but when he is played, the impact is gigantic.
Remember how in the spring split I said that the meta for LAN would be like Sobek and healers as well? And I think the summer split LAN, it might be the meta of the Chang'es versus the Chang'es in the solo lane meta. Variety taking that one away from Xalia's hands after game number 1, wanting it to go for himself, making it happen.
Chang'e, fantastic stuff, wins the game today for Team Dignitas. Later on, though, plenty of stuff going on throughout the week. Tomorrow, we will see E-United and Splice. Wow, it's already Friday.
I know. It's still Thursday. Tomorrow's game's getting up there. And then after that, it's going to be Space Station against Trifecta. Some LAN implications in both Europe and North America. Wanted to break down a little bit of Dignitas' standings after this set. Dignitas go up to 5-4 with an 11-10 record, sitting at +1. Rival are at 6-3 with the 14-9, making them +5. Now, this is important for Dignitas because they need Rival to lose both of their games against Obey Alliance and for Dignitas in the next week to win both of their games against SK. If that happens, it'll be tied at 6-4, and it'll be tied at a game differential of +3, and the head-to-head record is also tied at 2-1. They both lost to each other 2-1.
The hard part about that is Rival actually going to lose to Obey?
It's unlikely, but it's possible. It's definitely very likely that Dignitas will beat SK 2-0, but the question is, will Obey show up next week against Rival?
Certainly an interesting question. Of course, this is all seeing who we can crown victor of the summer split. After the summer split, plenty of more action. We're still going to go on. I think there's a brief reprieve as before we get into the fall split, but this is the schedule that we're looking at right now, and one more week of what we're seeing here. Monday through Friday, SPL action, and then Monday, 10 a.m., tell them what we're doing.
Esports Weekly, baby. It's happening every Monday, 10 a.m. I'll be there with more than just some Totally-isms.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I'll be there.
Also, unfortunately, Agro won't be here for Monday, so I will. So it's going to be fun. You're going to be on the show, though, right?
Yeah, that's why I just said.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Stop hitting me, Tom.
You might be able to go to... okay, fine.
We might be going to HRX after the Summer Masters LAN as well, and you have a chance to get that for yourselves if you go to hi-rezexpo.com. Don't miss your opportunity for the biggest event of the year.
Really excited, actually. Jokes aside, really excited to do this. We've been doing HRX in some capacity since, I mean, the launch tournament was, what, 2014 at this point, right? So we've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years, and now we get a chance to sort of be at the big boy table. We've always sort of been in our own little basement here at Cobb Galleria up North Atlanta where Migos is. Now we're going to the downtown. We're in the middle of the city. A lot of cool stuff. Other esports as well. Like I said, we're kind of at the big boy table now. It's really exciting to see Smite come and Paladin sort of get to this level.
And it's going to be a little bit warmer, not the January that we're expecting. So I'm bringing a light sweater.
I'll be excited to keep my voice this time around. Sorry, folks. You don't get no Batman, but you do get a gem sale. Let's take a look at what's going on this afternoon. 35% off gem packs for a limited time. And you want to know why?
Because Loki's just slashing all the prices.
I mean,
I had to do it to him.
That was going to be my joke, but you said my joke.
It's like I can read your mind.
Clairvoyant Anatoly. Anatoly, can you predict my future for tomorrow?
Your future for tomorrow. You will show up and you will be casting and desk work for not only SPL, but also the minor league and other things.
And other things.
Other things.
Make sure you join us tomorrow for casting SPL, the minor league, and other things. For myself, Anatoly, everybody behind the scenes, and everybody in front of the scenes, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peach it.